Excuse me, which of these products would you recommend?
Oh, well, these are the tampons I usually use.
Thank you.
I prefer pads. They're more comfortable for me.
Thank you.
I always get the ones with wings.
Thank you.
Get them scented and bleach-free if you can.
Thank you.
Yo, my daughter loves these.
Thank you.
These might be easier if it's her first period.
Thank
These
you.
are really environmentally friendly.
Right, so, guys, this is a scene from a Disney series called BAYMAX. BAYMAX is a spin-off from Big Hero 6, in which you have this crazy-looking robot guy going around learning stuff and I think relaying what he learns to kids. I believe it's a kids show. It's a bit of a struggle to find out exactly what it's rated. I've looked it up on Wikipedia, IMDb, I can't seem to find out a rating for it, but each episode's about 10 to 11 minutes long, and I'm assuming it's for kids because of that length, and it premiered today. In fact, it actually started in Disney Plus today. So what's the problem with this scene? Well, people are really making a fuss about this scene because obviously in this scene, I believe the robot is buying tampons for one of the characters in the show, who's a girl who's just started her period. And as you can see, there's a moment when a man who's wearing the trans flag on his shirt hands a box of tampons to BAYMAX that says, "I use these," or "I always get these," something like that. And people are saying, well, he's obviously a transgender man and he's buying tampons.
Thank you.
I always get the ones with wings.
Thank you.
Get them
Now I'm a bit confused here because I'm actually not sure whether he is or isn't. And I'm being genuine here, I'm not trying to be facetious. Because the thing is that he says, "I always get these." So he could mean that he always gets these for his wife or for the women he lives with. Or it could mean he gets them for himself. I mean, the trans flag that he's wearing is a kind of a giveaway, I suppose. I can't work out whether he's a trans man or a trans woman. I don't know, because I get confused about these things. Either way, I think the problem here is that it's confusing.
Thank you.
I always get the ones with wings.
Thank you.
Get them
I'll tell you why it's confusing, right? Because if you're a young girl and you're watching BAYMAX and you have just started your period, when you see that particular moment where the man's saying, "I always get these," you can't identify with that, because if he is saying it that he gets them for himself, a young girl will think, well, why would he? He is a man. Because then there's a dad behind the BAYMAX who says, "I always get these for my daughter." Which makes sense. I'm a dad too. I have to buy these kind of products for my wife, and I have also bought them for my stepdaughter. So I get that. I just don't get that bit. I just think this creates confusion, and I don't understand. I just don't. I remember growing up. When I was growing up, the Cosby Show was on, right? And I remember there was an episode of the Cosby Show where one of his daughters started their period, and it was one of the plot lines in that episode. And I remember that episode, because it was a strange plot line, but we learnt she started her period, we learnt it was uncomfortable for her, we learnt it was a seminal moment in her life, and we learnt that she had to now buy tampons. And you're like, okay, I get it. And that was clear. But this to me is not particularly clear, because I don't understand what you're trying to kind of say here. Anyway, see, what do you think? What do you think, right? I'm quite tired, so I'm just gonna go to bed. But I found this quite confusing, and I wonder whether kids would find it confusing too, because they're going to ask that question. And is that a question that needs to be asked when they're at this point in their lives, rather than just saying, "This has happened to you because you're a girl, this is what happens to girls, and you will now need these products because you're a girl of a certain age who started this time of her life." Good night, world.